Everybody, can you all hear me? I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the, can you hear me? I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the April 10th meeting of the Public Services Commission on Grosse Hill. And I'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to call the roll for our meeting. Kennedy?
Here.
Schmidtke?
Present.
Riley?
Absolutely.
Pedestris?
Present.
Clodier?
Here.
Budney?
Present.
Van Oz? And Kostick. So we're all here, and we're going to take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Any additions? Been moved that the agenda be approved as distributed. Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Well, so the first item on the agenda is a public information meeting about the West River Road project. And I want to tell you that we're all pleased to see such a big turnout. And hopefully that after we give you information, you'll be pleased with what you learned tonight. So the purpose is to have a public dialogue. Everybody that wants to will have a chance to speak. We have our engineers present, and I'll ask them to come up in a moment. But you all received a letter in the mail. I assume that's why you're here, so thank you for being here. And a handout tonight I'll go through real briefly. But I want to indicate that we did a project like this last year, completing the 12-inch water main on East River Road between basically Horse Mill and Ferry. That project went very smoothly, and it was done by the same method that we're proposing for your project. It's called directional drill. Our engineers will explain it. And the only problem we had were with residents where a fire hydrant was supposed to go in their front yard. The engineers programmed them like you would normally do it, 500, 600-foot spacing, and a lot of people didn't like where it was proposed. So this year, for your project, we're going to send a separate letter out. If you have a fire hydrant proposed for your front yard, you're going to automatically receive a letter, and we're going to ask you to come in, look at the plan, and see where if you'd like to move it 10 feet, 20 feet here or there. That wouldn't matter too much, so that we're not putting it in the middle of a garden or some place that you think is very important to your property. So, but that's a lesson we learned from last year's project. So I'll just make a few comments, and I'd like to start by saying that the fire chief has been concerned and came to us about 5 years ago that he wanted to see the completion of the 12-inch water main loop around the island. And years ago, they started to do this. Last year, we put 2 miles in of 12-inch loop on East River. This year, we're going to do the 2 miles on West River to complete the loop. And for fire protection, that's very important for you. When we have a water main break, the old 6-inch mains that John Keim over here, when he repairs the water main, sometimes they're down to 2.5 inches or 3 inches because of the calcification that builds up on the inside of the pipes. So we thought, well, if we put it in the front yards or towards the shoulder of the road, we're going to get involved in a lot of driveways and a lot of trees. But if we put it under the east lane, which is the northbound lane, we have a good excuse to repave that lane. And I would also tell you that we went to Wayne County. You know, Wayne County owns all our roads. We went to Wayne County and asked if they would participate in resurfacing the west lane, which is the southbound lane. And after a year of discussions with them, I'm pleased to say that they signed an agreement with us that they will do it. So the project doesn't only include replacing the water main, but hopefully we'll resurface the road and the engineers will verify the location, but it's just basically from Church Road all the way to the wastewater treatment plant, basically. And we're going to correct the drainage. Work with property owners where we can, but there's some spots we're going to put drains in under the road where we can and some overflow draining over the road. So those are the highlights. So the project consists of replacing the 6 and 8-inch water main that was installed during the 1930s. And the guy on the end of the table here, Les Schmidtke, he worked for the water department in the 30s. No, wait, maybe not. Approximately for 2 miles, and it's going to be done by a directional drill method. It also includes replacement of all the fire hydrants and all the valves, all the connections, and we'll try to answer all your questions as we go along. The project also consists of installing 2,400 feet, about a half mile, of 12-inch diameter PVC sanitary sewer. When they replaced the sewers, and probably Les can speak to this, it was way before my time, they didn't replace service to 11 properties. We're going to fix that now so we don't have to go back and dig up the road to replace the sewer at some future date. Try to get it all done now. So that's basically a highlight of the project. We put a little sheet together here that I hope you all have. And it says, when will the work start? Well, approximately right now we're signing a contract with the low bidder. We did have 4 bids on it, on the project, that ranged from, I'm going to talk off the cuff here, my memory, $3.5 million to $5 million. We had 4 bids, four reliable contractors. But the low bidder is a company called Bid Gary Contractors. They've done work here for us on the island before, and they've done very good work and been excellent in responding to citizen complaints. And we always plan these things like everything's going to go smooth. Well, it's like when I paint at home, I think it's going smooth, but my other partner sometimes she doesn't think it's going smooth, so things always happen, so the unanticipated. So at any rate, that's approximately the start date. Will the street be open during construction? Now this may be one that's a little controversial. What we did on East River Road last year, southbound traffic was cut off. It was one way, northbound. Everybody quickly adhered to it, got used to it, and it worked very well. In our case here, we're talking about, again, southbound traffic would remain in place. It'll be adequately signed for everyone, and everybody can get to their properties. And so we thought this would make the project go a lot better because parts of that northbound lane, the east lane, are going to be torn up. Will I lose water during construction? Basically, the only time you're going to lose water I think, John, you can correct me, when we make the connection to your property. The main will be installed, and the engineers will explain that if you want more clarification. Where will I park? Well, we think your driveways are always going to be accessible, except the day we're making a tap on your property. There may be 1 or 2 situations that arise. We'll have to work with the property owners, but always our goal is not to surprise people. We try to let you know if there's going to be some problem. What about police and fire? Well, police and fire, they're well aware of this project and will be well aware of this project, so they'll prepare for emergency service response to your residents. What will happen to my lawn sprinklers? This is always a problem because we don't know where they are. A lot of you don't know where they are because you probably weren't the homeowner when it was installed. I know that's the case with me. So if we dig them up, we'll fix them and try to work with everybody on that. And it says, what do I do if I have a question? Well, it gives you a phone number or engineers to call and ask for Bill Bettendorf. Bill's very good at dealing with our citizens and the contractor. And Bill, stand up. You'll get a chance to speak later, but Bill's here tonight to listen to your questions. And will my driveway be impacted? Well, hopefully not, but we're going to have to blend the new road in with the driveway, so we'll work with all the property owners in doing that blending. So those are some of the basic questions that we thought might come up. And with that, I'm going to ask our engineers, is there anything further that I haven't covered that you feel you need to address? Bill, come up to the mic, please.
The only thing,
come up to the mic.
The only thing is that the routing of the traffic is not up to us. Wayne County mandated it last year. They'll probably do it again.
Well, that's our proposal.
Well, we don't get to propose. Well, sorry.
Well,
they're going to tell us one way to go or the other because the road's so narrow.
Well, all right.
So, and whether it's north or south, it's going to be their determination. Right. They'll give us a traffic plan and expect us to adhere to it.
I thought that was resolved, but at any rate, we'll get it resolved.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right, with that, from the commission, anybody else want to say anything before we turn it over to questions?
I'd just like to reiterate that we're really happy that so many of you turned out for this, and I really encourage you during the project, please, if you have questions, don't sit home and be mad about anything. Call the numbers that you're given so that you get an answer and get your problems straightened out. That's what we want, this to move as smoothly as possible, and we can only do that with your cooperation.
Anything else, anybody? All right, with that, young lady, standing in the back, there's a chair right up here if you'd like it. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you come up to the podium, you speak in the mic and just give us your name. And I think if you're an owner, we'll be able to look you up because we have all the owners in a list. Yes, ma'am. Come up to the mic, sure. You're the first person. Just give us your name.
Linda Tilley.
Okay, Linda.
And I have two questions about the sprinklers.
Okay.
Number one, how do you want them marked? It says mark them. A certain color of flag or something?
Can you put paint on the ground by any?
Oh, sure, sure. Okay. Does it matter what color?
No.
Okay. And also, what about the sewer feed that comes from the river and comes under the road?
Do you have?
We're on the opposite side of the street from the river, and the line comes underground to our sprinkler, under the road to our sprinklers.
Okay.
So how do you want us to notify you on that?
Well, I think you got to get up here and might as well stand there.
Okay. If there's any way that you can mark that, I mean, blue is water for potable water, green is sewers, but any color, and talk to the contractor or talk to our inspector.
Okay, so when they show up, we should go out and tell them where it is?
You mark it, man. There was also a few people who called that said, some elderly women called. I don't know. Do you remember who they were, Bill?
I don't know about it.
We have the list.
Do you have the list?
I got their address.
You got their address. The contractor volunteered to take care of that.
Okay.
For those people who can't do it, contractor volunteered to have his people
Oh, mark it, you mean?
locate it for you.
Okay, well, we know where it is.
Locate it
We
for
use
you.
it.
Yeah,
okay.
and my suggestion to you would be, are you home all the time?
No?
Okay, but is when you see the surveyor out there, talk
Okay.
to him and he can paint
Okay.
it for you.
We'll watch for him.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, next person like that's question. Linda?
I just have a question about the mailboxes. Are they going to be affected? Because they're all over on that
That's
side
a good
of the road.
question.
So,
Bill?
Probably not. Probably not. There may be some, but mostly no, because we are in the lane. We're not going underneath the mailbox, we're working in the lane. So there may be some because you have a service going back to your house, but for the most part, no.
Will the post office be able to get to the mailbox?
Pardon?
Will the postal service be able to get to the mailbox?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make darn certain they do.
They'd be installing curbs like
Please come up to the podium and ask your question because other people may have the same question.
Gail Pfeiffer. Will they be installing curbs like they did on
No.
the south end?
No.
Okay.
No. What you see now is what'll be back just new. It's not going to turn into a superhighway. It's going to be pretty much the same thing, just new. So,
That's a good point. You know, the point on when we resurface the road, it's going to be resurfaced to what's there. And we're going to, in some cases, we may have to work with the property owner to finagle the drainage so that we can either put a pipe under the road or on your side of the road, a small pipe, an edge drain, let's say, to bring the water to a certain point to get it to the Trenton Channel. Yes, sir.
West Pfeiffer, just to confirm and verify, the road width remains the same.
yes.
We didn't have the money to widen it.
No, we don't. Sorry, Wes, you wanted more?
Oh, yeah. I wanted a turn lane.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Pollock, and I live on West River, 24163 West River Road. Where the water treatment is and coming down West Road, there's about 8 or 9 houses before me, and all the water comes down the road on a slant and brings all the water to my house. And there's a Wayne County drainage, which the lady was speaking of, that goes underneath the road to the channel, and it overflows every year. I have a big flood in front of my house, and I was wondering if they could correct this problem. And also, because I've had them come out and drain the tunnel, that it doesn't seem to help. Sometimes we have 3 days of rain, and it's really coming down continually. I always have a big flood in front, and I really would like to correct this problem. And also, I wanted to know about the electricity. Should we talk to the contractor about our sprinkling system? We have the electrical box right on the pole, and I don't know if the wires have anything to do with underneath the road or anything. I like to say I don't know.
What I'd like to ask you to do, Sylvia,
Yes.
Is give the information to the gentleman here, Joe, with our engineering firm. I'd like to get her address.
I believe I took care of her drainage. You're on Riverview?
I'm on West River. We're across from Elizabeth Park. And this is a continued...
Near Riverview?
Oh, is it?
But it is
Do you
really...
have the addresses listed there, Joe?
Sometimes it'll overflow down the road, and I'm very concerned with the weather, that it could cause an accident for someone coming down the road.
Want to whisper your address to him again?
Let me get you.
Okay.
He's going to take the information
Yeah.
and your phone number and make sure we get back with you on that.
And I thank you about taking care of the problem with the pipe. I have an idea of where my sprinkling system pipe possibly be, but that's about like 15 feet from the area, so that's not going to give you really a good area of where the pipe is underneath my road. So I'm happy that you'll take care of the problem. Whatever.
Okay.
24163 West River. And my name is Sylvia Powell.
You said 24163? Okay, I got it down, Joe.
There was another question. How many drain sewage are you going to have from the water treatment all the way to Church Road?
Any what?
Drainage of sewage, sewers. Do you have any idea? You said you're going to have also replacement of sewers?
No, only where the sewers have mostly been replaced on West River. There's a section 2,000 feet long that they weren't replaced years ago.
Okay.
We're going to go take the old sewer out and replace it, and unless it's on the west side of the road, right?
Well, I have one. And
It's on the east side?
okay,
Respect your property, ma'am.
Okay, the reason I'm saying I have one like across from my mailbox, and it's of no use. I never see anything of any. It's just on the other side of my.
The storm sewer.
Oh, is that a storm? Okay, then that's my questions are answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who's next?
Milo Gainier, 23425 West River. I must be the only ignorant one, but how is this being paid for?
Okay, well, we sold bonds through our water system, a water revenue bond. We sold bonds a couple years ago to do both these projects. So we have enough revenues to make the bond payments. So it's not going to increase your taxes.
So there's no added assessment or no added charge on the water bill then?
Not unless you'd like one. No, there's no. This is not. That's a fair question that you asked. Ted Van Oz sits on our commission, and he's the township treasurer. And the bonds were sold 3 years ago now, about.
Yeah, just about.
We sold $6 million in bonds.
$6 million worth of bonds for the two projects. Fortunately, we combined it back then, even though we knew there could be a delayed start because of the price of the bonds, and we got the bond pricing at about 2.5%.
So it's included in your current water rate.
There's a line item. I'm just wondering because I believe it was at the general election in 2016 there was a millage proposal and it included water mains.
That's right.
Right. Correct.
And the reason we did that is we had a lot more water main than just these two projects included. The reason we did that, in most cases, the water main is going to, affect the road just like it does here.
Sure.
And we didn't want to pave all these roads and then have to dig up water main breaks afterwards.
Sure.
That was one reason. The other reason was by putting it on the ballot for you to approve instead of selling a water revenue bond, we call it, where the revenues from the water system, it's tax deductible for you if that would have been approved. There was an advantage. Now, under the new tax law, it probably wouldn't have worked anyway, but that was the thought. So, and I'm glad you asked the question, because on our agenda tonight, we're going to go back, approve, hopefully, to go back to the voters. You can stay for the whole meeting. We'd love to have you stay. But we're going to have a proposal to go back and ask for some millage, not for water, just for paving our main roads. One section of West River would be on that, and that would be the section between Horse Mill and Church. But it would include Meridian and East River and Ferry and all the other streets that are in such bad shape.
Thank you.
Just one comment. The reason it's not going to affect your water rates is we had several bonds that matured and were paid off. And so rather than, with that base in mind, we're moving forward with this other project. So just take the money that we would have been paying for the other bonds and put on these bonds, so it shouldn't affect your water rates or your sewer.
Well, that's great. No, that's great. It's just that I was kind of confused because we had asked for the money a year and a half ago, and it was voted down for this specific area, if I remember it correctly.
That's right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
And that's a very good question.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready for more.
Hello, everyone. Kyle DeBose over at 21803 West River. Really happy the road's being paved. We have many small concerns that we'll be reaching out about, but the one main concern we have is this construction is going to be happening during the time at Westcroft Gardens, oldest farm in Michigan. That is our biggest revenue maker, May and June. So we're really happy that the road's being paved, but we're wondering if some kind of provision can be made for us, if signs can be put up at the beginning or at the end of the road letting folks know we're still open, possibly letting folks know of detours, because again, that's our biggest months of revenue, and we really rely on it to be able to continue.
Well, thank you for that. And yes, we will make an effort to do that. I'm glad you brought it up. And we'll make a contact with you and work with you. You're the only business there, and everybody is proud that you're there. So we worked, I think, well together 5 or 6 years ago when we did that improvement. And the ditch that caved in front of you, or the guardrail caved in front of your residence, I worked with your aunt or whatever. But at any rate, it's a good point.
Thank you. And do you know, we had also had a question about that. Do you know where the water main goes around that bridge, or if it does, or is it through it, or who knows?
Beside it.
Beside it? Gotcha. Okay.
You're talking about the new water main we just put in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the one where that bridge that you were talking about 5 or 6
Yeah, we
years.
know where it is.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm with him, Westcroft. I was just curious, it says, like he was saying, for May. Is there a direction that the construction's going to be going, like coming from the plant and towards Church, or is it going to be all at once?
That's, Bill, we don't know at this point.
Beginning at Church, yeah, he said at the meeting, you're going to begin at Church on the water main portion of it and come south. But they're not going to be right in front of you because it's already there. So they're going to stop short of you, jump past you, and pick up again on the other side of that bridge.
So yeah, the portion by Westcroft we're not doing. Because we did it like 3-4 years ago. We replaced the water in the road. So this section we're not touching.
But it will from her driveway back to Church.
Correct. Will be construction.
Right, and so it's going to start there.
At Church.
At that direction. Okay. All right, good to know. Thank you.
One thing about this construction method, they're going to be primarily on one lane. It's not like the whole road's going to be torn up. And once the traffic's in place, and if we can work through and the township managers here are listening in tonight, I don't know if the zoning board would have anything to say, but if we could put some temporary signs up for you out on, let's say, Horse Mill and Church, indicating that you're open for business, I think that's reasonable. People can access it that direction. All right? Yeah, yes, ma'am. Come up to the podium.
Go ahead.
Well,
Marcia Plum, 2203 West River Road. Is the paving all going to be done at one time, north and south, or kind of follow up with her, or is it going to be done in segments?
well, normally they'll do a lane at a time. Laying
They're gonna
asphalt,
do the
but Bill,
whole
come up
north?
come up to the mic.
Just concerned about 4th of
Our conversation
July.
was It's not going to even start
Until
until
our-
the water main's done.
Okay.
It's not even going to even start till the water main's done. And obviously, we'll start on the northbound side because that side's already going to be torn out.
That's right. A guess? What would be your guess at when we'd probably start it?
Said September. September.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just wondering, I'm Pat Gretsch from 22247 West River. How deep of a foundation are we going to have this time on our road? It's only this much gravel under the pavement. So are we going to have a better foundation under our road?
Yes.
And how thick is the asphalt going to be?
6 on 9.
6 on 9 on the northbound side.
6 on 9.
Explain that, Bill.
6 inches of asphalt on 9 inches of stone.
Oh, okay.
And going southbound, though, that's just a cap,
6 inches.
right?
Yeah, 6
That's-
inches.
Oh,
that's
we're
just
gonna
get
mill
milled up
that
and get
off?
6 inches put back.
Because there's some of it that has no foundation under it.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep, that's
Yep,
right.
none.
Right. We probably know
Yeah.
that, yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wonder if it's going to be, it'll last. I know this one's lasted about 60 years, so I
Right.
just wonder how long the next one's going to last.
At least half of that.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd ever see a new road there. I gave up years ago.
Milo Gainer again, 23-425. I just thought of one thing. Is there a point in time or a place where, a homeowner would actually be able to review the plans for in front of their home?
Sure. If you'd like, this evening, when we adjourn this public meeting, there's a meeting room right outside the door here, and our engineers will be happy to go in there with you and take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Or the other thing is you can always come into the DPS desk once. I guess we'll get a set of plans there eventually. John, you got a set? If you come to the DPS, we can make arrangements for you to look at it anytime you want.
Okay, thank you.
Now you can come up.
Keith Kohler, 22295 West River Road. I'm in the 2,400 feet that is also getting the new PVC sanitary sewer.
Okay.
And it says, will that excavation be more than what they're doing for the water main? And I guess I'm picturing, are you going to be pulling out the driveway and digging a big hole?
All right, that's a good question. Bill or Joe, can you?
Okay.
It's going to get much neater because we're going to pipe burst it now.
The sewer?
Yep. Going
Explain
to pipe
that.
burst it now, so
Explain that.
it's going to get much neater. We're going to.
Pipe burst, man?
Oh boy. We're actually going to take a cutter head and burst the old pipe and drag a new pipe through inside of it. So literally where it's at now is where the new one will replace it. And then come back in and make the connections
So
as
you're
we
not
go.
going to take out driveways? And
Nope.
The only excavation?
No excavation, nope. Just new manholes.
Manholes?
Just new manholes, that's it.
Perfect, thank you.
This is your opportunity to ask questions. We've had great questions tonight so far. What about garbage service? That won't be disrupted, right?
Right.
So we'll still do garbage service. Yeah, I think we have a question back here. You're okay.
Denise Keeler, 23145 West River. We have both electrical and water coming under the road. Now, the company that put them in is going to mark them. I told them with flags. Did I hear somebody say something about paint?
Flags are fine. Sorry. Not used to this. Flags are fine.
Flags are fine.
Whatever.
Okay, just because they know exactly where
Have them
those-
mark it and make sure they mark it on both sides of the road.
Both sides.
That's all we need.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
One thing for you, Bill. When do you need them to mark it by? Say now or by September? I don't think the water main will affect you.
Yeah, it will.
Because the water is so deep.
Yeah, you're going to need to. They need to mark it now.
Yes, well, in 2 weeks he's starting now.
Do it. That'll be fine.
Mr. Nelson. Oh, no.
23737 West River Road. What I'm hearing is that we're going to, I'm in the 2300 block, so what I'm hearing is I'm going to have the water main, right?
Yes.
The sewer. And I have 3 irrigation lines running under the road. Now, in the age of technology, the last one was put in with a twitching stick. So I have no idea. That's right, they couldn't find it. Nobody could find it, but the man came along with a little switch, and he found it.
Yeah.
So, therefore, identifying it now is going to be very difficult.
They'll find it.
So you'll find it.
They will. Contract will.
If he's, your contractor. My contractor's gone.
No, your contractor. The contractor that's out there will find it.
Okay.
He will find that
Because
stuff.
mine
They're
is,
very good at
he's
it.
not in existence anymore.
Understood.
Okay,
That's not a
so we got
problem.
3.
Yes.
And you're going to put this pipe through there. You see, I'm the only one on West River Road that's got, in layman's language, a ditch. So I have
Okay.
concerns about that.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance, you talk to that gentleman
I
right
will.
there. He's got everything on there.
Right.
Where
And I'll give
ditches
him
are
our-
going, where the drainage is going, the improvements, there is improvements. Considerable amounts of it, so.
All right. My
Also-
concern is the ditch, because I'm the only one that's got one.
And you want to keep it?
We'll discuss that. That's open for negotiation.
And ma'am, I did not get, you spoke so quickly, I didn't get your name.
Zajac. It's for Mary Zajac.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Jim Nelson, Real Road. I don't have any concerns about West River. I don't live on that road. I mean, I do as a citizen. But last summer we did East River. People in the audience, if they had somebody they could maybe contact over on East River to say how was it. I mean, even though we didn't do pavement over there, we did put the water in. If anybody has any, I'm sure they have concerns about, is this going to work? Well, it worked real well on East River. So if there was a contact person from East River that could talk to people about it if they so chose.
As a follow-up, you're saying?
Yeah, because I want everybody to leave here tonight feeling good about this, obviously.
Hopefully they will. Thanks, Jim. Other questions? Dale. Dale Rayom is the township manager. Pleased that you're here, Dale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, everyone, for attending. A big part of any project is communication. As they said, we've done a letter. We have an open house. The plans are available. Ask questions, see people in the field. There'll be door knockers. The contractors will be informing you when they're working in the area. How many of you have Groesville Connect? Not bad. I'm going to hand out the cards reminder. They're for smartphones. It's the Township Communication app.
By the way,
this
meeting doesn't show up on Groesville Connect.
It gives, no, sir, that doesn't. That's just a notification form.
I got it.
So what this will allow us to do is to give notifications for traffic advisories, things of that nature. It'll be important to this job as well as other jobs that we have going. So it's just a communication tool that we have made available that's helped a lot of the residents. Out of the 10,300 residents, we have 5,835, Ted, I think was the latest number. So we're over 5,500 now. So it's a great tool and it's available. And don't hesitate to ask Bill anything in the field, because he's probably going to be living on this job, and they do a great job representing us. And when it comes to your sprinkler lines, your electrical lines, from past experiences, the contractor does everything they can to avoid it, but they also repair it if necessary. So we'll keep you in better shape than what we found you. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Peter Kantz, your silence is deafening here.
Erica Jackson again from Westcroft. When it's down to one lane, are we going to be able to get trucks down the road easily? It's already pretty narrow with branches, so if it's down to one lane, getting
Yes.
trucks around?
I think this answer is yes. It's not like we're going to dig a 15-foot hole the whole length. I mean, there are going to be spots where it's torn up, but you're going to be able to get a truck through there.
Okay.
You are going to be able to get a truck through.
Okay, we have semis that come in and out, so I'm just
not
trying to make
semis.
sure that
No, I'm like,
we're going to have access down the road at some
I don't
point,
see a
some
difference
way.
with semis. Bill or Joe? Semi trucks, no problem?
That's why the one-way, we try to work with the county, it has to be southbound because they can't get underneath the bridge. They have to come in from the north, right?
Yeah.
They have to come in, and it has to continue that way. Any trucks that come in cannot get underneath the bridge.
All right, so then they're going to have to go out.
So they have to go up, you go up to
Church Road and then go out
Church
Ferry.
or
Not
Lakewood or wherever you live, any of those streets that come across and go back south, if that's where you are. So you just need to be north of your residence and come back. Brenda?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
our semis don't enjoy that. They can only make the turn from Ferry. It's just very narrow roads.
Ferry?
and they-
Well, they come in church, don't they, for you?
No, they hate church. It's too
So
narrow.
how do they get?
Okay, are there other
They go
questions?
all the way up to Ferry?
Are there
Well,
other
okay,
questions?
I'll see out.
Well, I don't see any more. Peter. Boy, I bet it's going to be a doozy, too.
Peter Kantz, 22119 West River. The gate valves you're putting in, a lot of the gate valves now, they're standing up a foot off the ground and all that kind of stuff. Are these going to be set at a certain level?
They're gonna be
They're going to be.
They're gonna be flush with the pavement because it's gonna be in a road.
The gate valves will be in the road,
In the road
rather than the yard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's a good improvement.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you talking about your stop box?
Yeah, my gate valve to my residence.
Oh, you're
That's
right.
a stop box. That's not
That's
a
a
gate
stop
valve.
box? Okay. Stand corrected.
It's gonna be in the same place you have it now.
Flush,
Yes.
not standing up 2 feet. Okay.
We can level wherever you want.
Okay, real good. Thank you.
Well, I'm here just a couple things. All the driveway gonna be affected, gonna be replaced as kind. Say you got a concrete, you get concrete driveway, you got asphalt, you get the asphalt pavement back. And what we did on the northbound, on the east side of the road, we tried to have the road like uniform, like one width. Because if you drive it, one place is open up a little bit, some places like narrow. So we try to have it 9 foot all the way from the wastewater treatment plant all the way to Church Road, and we add 3 foot shoulder. So they're gonna be 3 foot shoulder all the way from the Marlboro Drive all the way to Church Road.
Is that shoulder paved?
Yes,
We're going to have a shoulder. We've never had a shoulder.
it's gonna be a gravel shoulder.
Well, it's a shoulder.
Or shoulder, yeah, you're gonna have 3 foot shoulder with a 9 foot wide lane.
The road is not.
Yeah, but we've never had a shoulder.
What about at the corner of Church and West River? That's more than 3 feet. There's a complete,
Oh, is it? Okay.
almost another lane there.
I think we added 3, oh.
That'll be 3 feet.
Yeah, we'll do 3 feet.
You're gonna change it to 3 feet?
Well, we're probably not gonna take it out, but we're gonna put new 3 foot in.
On both sides of the road? Because on West River.
Listen, gentlemen, Joe, we are on.
Exactly. Whatever is.
Joe, we're on television. You can't talk from there.
Sorry.
Anybody wants to ask a question, come up to the podium and speak to the mic.
Sorry, Bill.
Well, we have a viewing audience out there, so.
My question was about the shoulder on the west side of the road. On West River, there is no shoulder. In many places, it drops right off into the river. So I don't see how you can put a 3 foot shoulder on the west side unless you do some
Up to the
major,
mic, Joe, and
riprap or something along that line.
On the west side.
Speak to the mic, Joe.
On the west side of the road, what we did is we roto-milled, so we replacing the asphalt, and wherever there is a shoulder we can put, we will put it in. and it's going to be directed by the county.
Okay, so
If we're going to follow the county standard, we have to have a shoulder. If there is a place for shoulder, we'll make sure we put it in.
okay, so you're not going to create any.
No. But on the east side of the road, for sure, we're going to have a 3-foot shoulder and one width all the way.
And this commission, you know, we every year we get in the car this time of year, the spring, and we drive the roads. We have some money to do some work every year, and we try to fix what we can. And several years ago, we redid the intersection of Church and West River, and we did, I think, Ferry. We made some improvements there. We did the Westcroft Garden project, where some of you may recall the guardrail actually caved in on the ditch, and we fixed it, not the county. The county owns the road, and we put a nice box culvert in and worked with the Westcroft Gardens to make that work successfully. And we raised the road in the low spot there almost 12 inches, 200 feet of new water main in, so we wouldn't have to tear that up again. So we're going to try to get rid of the drainage problems, the water that accumulates on that east side for you. I mean, I drive it and see all the splashes and how dangerous it is, especially when it freezes and thaws. So we've talked about this for years. So it's finally here. We finally figured out how we're going to pay for it. And hopefully it'll be all good when we're done. Is there anything else? You know, I shouldn't have allowed you to speak.
On the 4th of July, Trenton puts on a big fireworks display, and over on West River Road, there are thousands of people there on the 4th of July. Are they going to accommodate that fireworks display anyway?
Well, I don't think we're going to have the other lane torn up, and there's not going to be that much torn up in these the roads at that point. Am I correct? I mean, there'll be construction out there. Yeah. We'll be cognizant of that. We're going to try to close things down for the 4th of July. I don't even know what day it is, but that's a good point. We'll make a note of it.
Okay, thank you.
Have them all come and sit in your front yard.
Our I don't know. Our fire chief Duncan Murdoch just walked in. He's the one that started this. Duncan.
Did you hear that? I started it. Yeah.
Did you come here to speak, or we've been talking about the West River Road water main project, and well, you're here, so we thought maybe could you speak to the residents and just explain to them how this is going to help them? I already did, but I didn't do it like you can do it.
I apologize for my clothes. I'm in my relax clothes tonight.
You're the fire chief. It's all that's important.
I know when I came before the commission a couple years ago, 3 years ago,
or more,
about that, we wanted to get this 12-inch main completed around Groseal due to fire protection. And when we did start talking about it, I saw it moving forward, and it was an important project for the fire department. With the new pumpers and things of that nature, got to remember, excuse my out of breath, I've been running. Our pumpers move about 2,200 gallons of water a minute. So you can imagine a 6-inch main that's probably this big around now since the 1930s. We're not going to move a lot of water. So that being said, this is a project that's very important to the community, fire department, house values, everything that goes along with moving forward with this project. Now we do have to remember the hydrants are placed in distances so far apart, so the fire department references how far they are apart. If they're within 20 feet of that distance, we're good with it. We understand some people don't want them in the middle or in front of their house. I'm good with that. I'm big on the property line. If we can balance it out that way where they all hit the property lines between the houses, that's perfect. So if it works out that way, that's an engineering
We're going to work with the residents.
So, but overall, this is going to help the water pressure to the homeowners, clean water to the homeowners, and excellent water or fire protection for the community itself. So this is a very important project to finish and complete. So I'm very happy we've got to this point now, 3 years later, and it's coming to fruition.
Thank you, Duncan.
Bill, there'd be one thing I'd like to say about the fire hydrants. If you have a fire hydrant that's in front of your house, call up your insurance company because your insurance rates are going to go down, way down.
Good point. Sir.
Jim Barton, 24081. On behalf of myself, and I hope everybody that's in this room, we want to thank each one of you for the time and effort that you put into this project. It's absolutely amazing to see this happen. It's like the advertisement. It's a miracle. I never thought it was going to happen in my lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Well, thank you for that. Any other comments? All right, if there aren't any, we're going to move on from this item to our agenda, and you're all welcome to stay. I think we'll have I know some of you probably don't want to stay, so we'll have a 2-minute recess where you might want to leave, but I would encourage anybody who wants to learn about their government to stay a little longer. Thank you for being here.
Well, let's hope I don't need you.
Testing. Okay, let's call the meeting in order. All digitized. Now we got
full house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. Those two guys are back again.
All right, we are going to continue with the meeting, and let's just we'll go down our agenda at this point. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 13th meeting?
So moved.
Moved and supported that the minutes of March 13th be approved as distributed. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. May I have a motion to approve the bills found on pages 13 through 19? Vouchers 13,706 to 13,719.
So moved.
I will second that.
Questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Next, you've all had a chance to review our statements of revenues and expenditures. We're early in the, well, this is the end of the fiscal year. So I didn't see anything that looked abnormal to me. Anybody have any questions? If not, we'll receive and file the statements of revenues and expenditures. May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Move that the treasurer's report be approved.
Their support.
I will support it.
Questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Treasurer's report's approved. Is there any public comment of items that are not on the agenda? All right. With that, we'll move on. The first item I'm going to come back to because that's going to require a lengthier discussion for all of us. And I know we have a couple gentlemen. We have Ken Tatar and Frank Hughes in the audience. They were here last week. And so the question there, and I'm going to get right to the page. Is page 32 in your packet, I believe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 32 in the packet. And Lorinda is not here tonight. She had a death in her family. But she asked us all to bring last week's packet with all the bid information. This item is it's a recommendation to the Township Board regarding our annual request for TV inspection and cleaning of our sanitary sewer system. We budgeted up to $150,000 a year to divide the township into 5 segments and do one segment every 5 years on a rotating basis. So we took bids on this. We received, I think, 5 different bids. And the motion that we looked at last week was to accept in the amount of $841,000 as submitted by Greenspace, that a contract be awarded for Section 1 of such work. I know there's been a lot of discussion. I know that, and you're welcome to address us again, Ken or Tatar or Frank Hughes. They've provided us additional information. I don't know where your feelings are, where you want to go with this. I know, Les, you wanted to...
Mr. Chairman?
Speak to it? Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we do not accept the bid from Greenspace, that we accept the bid from Safeway Transportation.
I wonder if you'd reconsider just stating the affirmative. You want to make a recommendation to accept the bid from Safeway, you don't have to say anything about the other entity. Seems cleaner.
We don't. So John's point is, Les, we don't have a motion on the floor.
Okay.
So we have a recommended motion.
But he can make a motion to accept a Safeway bid, period.
John is right. Yeah, John is correct.
That's a lot cleaner. And Frank Hughes, I believe you indicated you're a lifelong resident out here and live out here?
I don't currently live on the island anymore, but I grew up here.
Okay.
My sister still lives here, my brother still lives here.
Okay. And Mr. Tatar, you are not only a person bidding on this, which would have equipment close at hand, but you also have another business on Grove Road, and I assume you're current on your leases on that business if you're leasing that property from the township?
That's correct.
And you pay your water bill too, don't you?
Absolutely.
That has been a problem in the past with some of the tenants. So you're a viable entity that's taking up space that we need to lease. on Grosse Ile.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well,
I'll support that motion.
well, okay, I just looked at the bids, and I want to be clear on this. If you were to go with Safeway, the way the bid was structured, and this is a wording deal, we were going to accept the 5-year proposal, but not award it. We were going to award annually, see how the contractors perform. So my suggestion would be is that if you're going to change that from Greenscape, and we can discuss some of the reasons in a minute, that
Just 1 year with a renewable, is that what you think?
we would accept the $861,000
From Safeway.
which was the 5-year, accept it, but award, and their bid for the first year was $161,000. We're only going to award up to $150,000 because we budgeted $150,000. So that last year, just award up to $150,000 of their Phase 1 bid. You follow me? Because that's the budgeted figure.
1 year?
The first year, yeah.
Is that a problem for Safeway?
No, that'd be fine.
And I have a problem with making the minor adjustment. Any other adjustments?
So, no, I think that does it. Now, so you have a motion on the floor. Was that supported?
I supported it. Motion for Safeway. I support it. The idea is it's a 1 year and it's $150,000. And we recognize that they have some presence on the island.
All right, so you want to, we'll open it up for discussion now. Les, you made the motion. You want to start?
I don't have much to say about it. I think they're here. They're close by. They're in Romulus. They also have a hangar here on the island, and they came out and did a job for us a couple weeks ago, and they were here and nothing flat to take care of that problem, and it was a serious problem. So I recommend them highly.
Well, as far as I know, our engineers in checking the background information, both firms came in with no negatives at all. And I know they have the equipment to do the work, correct? And that's the kind of things I think we ought to be talking about. Anybody else?
I like the fact that you are on the island, and I think you have helped us out in the past. Have been pretty responsive, so.
Would you like to? Well, would you? The commission have any more statements?
I don't think they have to say too much. They're certainly welcome to that.
Yeah, you're welcome to come up to the podium.
If any has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions? And you're Frank Hughes.
Yes, and we intend to house our equipment over here at the hangar. That we've got an office there, and can work right out of there, so you can get in contact with us. Any problems that we have during the project, any residents' concerns or anything can be answered, right locally out of that office. So it should work out well.
Right. No further discussion. Any other motions? Frank, come up to the podium. Mike,
contract
please.
period going to be, we're going to cut the first year down to 150, and then you're going to award the entire 5-year deal to us at 861?
In my mind, the wording is we're going to accept your bid for the whole amount.
Okay.
We discussed all summer, all last year, as we debated how we were going to approach this. Mm-hmm. We only have $150,000 to spend a year.
Right.
We're only going to do $150,000 a year.
Okay.
So that's why I tempered this. I know that if I look at the bid, as you stretch this out, there were some years that I think that you were actually the low bidder for those couple of the years, as we look at the 5 years.
So that's a $750 total, but right now the motion only deals with the first year.
Right.
And your employees are certified by the state?
Yes. Yes. PACP, NASCO certified sewer inspectors.
So what we're doing is accepting your total bid. In my mind, it's because of performance. If for some reason you fail to perform, or if we'd awarded it to Greenscape and they failed to perform, we've only accepted, we've not awarded them anything but the 1 year. So you've already bid the number of feet of sewer pipe to be cleaned by size with a price. So we're going to honor that price as we go forward, and year to year to year, we would just move on to the next phase of the work.
Okay.
And
So the motion covers the 5 years. There's a cap on the first year of 150,000. Is that right?
Yeah,
correct.
All right.
The 150 is that's what it is per year, right?
That's the maximum.
That's the maximum per year.
Our engineers will work with you and John Keim to direct how far that goes.
Right.
And if you're really good, you probably can get it done sooner and do a little more for that 150,000. Who knows? All right. Is everybody any further discussion? Is it ready for a motion? I mean, we have a motion. Ready for a vote?
Somebody's got to write this up. Who's going to write it up?
I will. I'll give it. Lorinda's.
She's not here, so we're talking right now. We've said about 3 different things, but you guys get it. You guys get a contract for 5 years. There's a cap the first year of 150.
No. They're going to get a letter saying we accept your bid. We're going to give them a contract for the first year. The idea is we won't bid this again unless they fail to perform.
Okay.
First year trial basis, might as well say.
Then in year 2, what's the procedure?
It's the same thing every year.
Satisfied and renewed.
We don't have to rebid it. We'll just.
But we have we have the right to rebid it, but I don't think that's our intent.
Right.
So if you perform, I think our intent is the staff would bring back, our engineers would bring back. Now we want to do phase 2 for this amount, complete whatever we did in phase 1, and we have your bid and we can move forward with it.
Okay.
And it'll
So
be.
then you don't go out for other bids. They perform and you just then renew on a rolling basis to the next year, which would be year 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. So this will take place every year for 5 years or whatever, and then we start again.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this has to go to the township board. I mean, we're recommending.
Right.
Yeah. We're advisory only, so. Okay?
All right.
And heaven knows we've spent tons of hours on this topic, so. All right.
I got a question now.
You're the secretary. You got to write this down. Get it down.
If we're still only 5 years, that's only $750,000. Where do we get up to the 861? Will we have to go another year, or will we have to? Could we add money in 1 year to get up there in 5 years?
Well, we'll have to decide that.
Okay.
Those are both possible, Phil.
Okay.
That we could add money.
Right.
We could
add a 6 year.
Phil, the discussion we had was that we've been looking at, and we feel our budget can handle 150. The 5 year really came in, I think, talking to from the state and everything, and we kind of decided that if it takes us 6,
okay,
we're going to be moving along. We're going to be doing what they want us to do. If it takes us a little longer to get the complete system done.
Okay.
Everybody in agreement?
Yeah.
Yep.
What would a good term of art be for what we're doing? It's kind of like a rolling renewal. Is that what it is?
Sure, John.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's
John. But we're not going to. The way it's going to be worded is just a 1 year deal. It's based on performance. Everything's okay. They'll get it again next year, and the next year, and the next year. We're not going to be tied into 5 years today. It's not going to be.
I understand that, but assuming performance is adequate, then it's a rolling, automatic renew.
Well, we'll go through this process. This would come up again next year, and it'll be $150,000.
So it's on the agenda, but it's not public bid out.
Right. It's not a rebid next year and go through this. It's just a matter of awarding next year's segment.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussion?
Bill, I would recommend it. You put in that motion based on the recommendation and the approval of the township's attorney. Because this is getting pretty complicated here.
All right.
I would like to have him before you even bring it to the.
Do you have an objection?
Before you even bring it to the commission, bring it to the township attorney.
Well, we go to the township board, then they refer to their attorneys for a.
Well, we're going to do that before we approve it. I'm just trying to save a step.
Yeah.
I don't want to come
Just
to us. and
automatically do it. You automatically send it to the attorney. We don't have to write all that stuff in there. I don't think.
Well,
you're going to have to do it anyways. The township board is the only group that really binds the township to any contract. This group is advisory. So they have to make the determination. If they're whatever comfort level they're in, if they need to talk to their attorney, they need to do that. We don't need to recommend that down here.
I think what Ted's trying to say, John, is it eliminates that point if we do it ahead of time. So as chairman, I'm going to ask you, would you be willing to add that to your motion?
If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll just do it at the township board.
But it'll just delay it further.
It's going to delay the process.
Why? Just do it. Why would it delay the process?
I think we look better by
asking refer to the township attorney.
Well, it's going to go.
And then if he's going to change it, I'd like to have any changes that our township attorney makes be made before it comes before the board for approval.
No, they should just go there and get approved up there.
Okay, fine. Do it that way.
I would think. It's simple.
Well, the chair's going to take, I think, I understand it's simpler, but I think we look better if we make the motion as he suggested, because we get it done, it goes to them, and it's already taken care of, rather than have them delay it. And even if we go to them, I'd rather have it asked up front.
Have the township attorney look at it before it goes before the township board.
And agree with it, right.
Right. John, the point is the board can't do it because you haven't passed it to us yet. We can't take it, like go out tonight and say, hey, Tom, look at this. So it is a procedural thing. It'll make the whole process quicker if you put it in there, and that's the order to do, is go to the attorney, get it done. Now when it goes to the board, it's done and ready to go.
And it doesn't have to come back to us again.
Right.
When can these guys start their job?
Well, it's not going to go to the township board till the end of April, so.
No, but that's the question. When can you guys start?
Whenever you're ready.
So in other words, it's only the township board, so let's modify the motion. You can take care of that, refer to the township attorneys for purposes of review of documents, and then goes to the township board.
You're the maker of the motion. You agree to ask for the township's attorney's review and approval of this procedure?
I agree to that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I modify it, sure. And Phil can get it down so you guys know what we're doing.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, he is. Yes. Oh, yeah, Les has got to get this.
All right, I got it. Okay. If there's no other discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And looking at the agenda, I'm going to come back to action item 1. I'd like to move on and talk about Ember Court. How would that be?
Great.
I think John Keim, you have some news for us.
As of the end of last week, we have all homeowners in agreement, and we're ready to move forward with this project.
I see that again. So, John, I know we have a map here. What we don't have is a final cost estimate. Do you have a map in your packet? Can you go up to the board and just show us basically what's going to take place? And I see that we have the property owners sign off, and I want to ask a question about that.
Certainly, go right ahead.
Well, first of all, show us with a pencil. Start from the
So at
low spot.
8160 Stout, we're going to run a pipe from the existing storm ditch on the north side of Stout. Heading north along there's an existing landscape drainage. We're going to replace that, remove and replace that in place. Coming north and then heading northeast across the corner of 8160 and encroach on 2299, not encroach, but we're going to get a construction easement from them at 22091 Ember Court and end right here outside the wetland area with a catch basin and riprap. elevated catch basin.
In the wooded area?
Correct.
All right, so what we are going to go through on this side yard here of this home of 8160, we're going to go through a landscape area that's got, what, stone, elevated step stones. That's going to have to be torn apart and rebuilt.
That is to be hand dug through that section as well.
And the property owners, what are they asking for in addition to restoration?
Green buffer.
Green buffer.
I've negotiated with each one of them. We're going to give them 3 evergreen spruce of their choice.
3? So 6.
9. Because actually the existing line that we're going to remove and replace is on the neighbor to the west, and the address isn't on here. They are giving us the construction easement to remove and replace the existing pipe, so we're going to give them 3 trees. 8160 is getting 3 trees, and 22091 Ember Court is getting 3 trees.
All right, so
John, I assume they're going to be reasonable size, what, 6 or 8 foot?
6 or 8 foot, yes.
all right, and so you need to come back with I'd like to see a drawing with the other property owner on it, that address listed.
Okay.
We need a cost estimate. So at our next meeting then, that would be brought back?
We're ready.
Okay, so I'd like to ask the gentleman, and I forgot your name, sir.
Bob Meckenheim.
Is that it, Bob?
That's it.
Bob Meckenheim. Bob, have you had a chance to look at this plan?
No, I have not. As a matter of fact, I'm seeing it for the first time.
All right. And you're president of the Ember Court group, right?
Yeah, it's called Sherwood Forest, but it's Ember Court includes that.
Well, I don't want to ask you to look at this off the cuff. I think I'd like to ask you to give John your contact information.
Sure.
And we need to come back with a cost estimate, but I'd like him to go through it with you. And maybe I'll go, the 3 of us can,
Sure.
And make sure you're in accord how this is going to work. And I'm concerned about, I shouldn't be concerned about this alternative from a cost standpoint. But I want to make sure we do have a cost estimate, how we're going to bid it, and so forth. We need to make sure we get the right type contractor interested.
Sure.
Because our bids on the last drainage project we had were not done well, I don't think. Cost estimate was very high. Bids came in at half. We had a lot of construction problems. I think it's because we didn't invite the right contractors to bid on the job properly. And I mean, that's my own opinion. And I only say that because I was out there handling all the complaints, me and Mr. Budney. So I want to make sure we do this and bring it back with all that information. And I want to make sure Bob can at least say, yeah, we looked at it and it looks like it's a good plan.
And I'll get the board to approve it.
His board.
My board.
Yeah, well, I don't know that's fine. I don't know that that's necessary, but I'd like it to come back within the next month for our next meeting.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, John, for getting all this.
You're welcome.
The permissions, okay?
I'll give you my information.
You know Kevin?
Bill, the Stout address is 8172, the next one over.
Right. The one that's not shown.
The one that's not shown.
I'd like to have a drawing that shows it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We're getting the easement from them. I just want to make sure we know what all our costs are going in.
No, you're absolutely right.
Next item is from Ryan Walsh, who runs our wastewater plant. Ryan? I want to find it here. I got it right here. So Ryan came to us at our last meeting and talked about the problems he had with the equalization basin overflowing at the plant, and we were surprised that there weren't alarms in place to give an indication of that. So he went out on his own, and I appreciate this, Ryan, and it looks like a pretty good report. I talked to Ryan about it, and what I'd like to do is I just want to quickly go through this. Have all of you had a chance to look at this? That was in your packets, right?
It was sent separately.
It was emailed.
Yeah, it was emailed.
Right.
You got it, Les? You got it? The wastewater plant?
Just handed it out.
Yeah, I have it.
So I'm going to talk about the four alternatives that Ryan, and he can answer any questions.
Okay.
First, the item is the utility instrumentation services. The estimated cost is $5,225.
That's right. Yep.
And it's to install a PLC. I don't know what that is.
Hardware. It's
Hardware?
a
4-channel analog card, UPS, and cellular modem to monitor the influent flow and wet well level. This would include a PLC and cruise HMI programming, some technical stuff. This would allow us to monitor and receive the alarm notifications via voicemail, emails, and text messages, and it would be an unlimited amount of information that we could get. This would require a $510 a year service fee, with the first year being free. So we're talking about $5,000 there. Second one is from another company, Outbound Technologies, for $5,763. Create a small SCADA monitoring application using Tesla SCADA HMI to monitor several data points. And you say you're not sure if this system will alert with calls, text, or voicemail. You're looking into it. Did you find anything out on that?
He said that it will not call out actually, so we would only be able to actually see it. So like through a
so you wouldn't get an
smartphone
alarm
device.
per se?
No. Nope.
So you're going to discount that option?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
That's no longer an option. Okay.
Yep.
Then the Suez BiPoint Link 4G camera, $400 is pretty cheap, possibly $15 a month for unlimited pictures. But under this system, you'd have
it's through cell phone. Yeah.
But you'd be looking at it, and if we were having a storm period where we had heavy rains or excessive flows in the middle of the night, you're going to have to keep monitoring once an hour or something like that.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, that's
So that-
not a good system in my view.
There's no alarm there.
I sort of threw that out.
Yep.
Then another one would be to station an employee during high flow periods at the plant.
Yep.
I don't
For
think
overtime.
that's a very good option either.
Yeah.
So basically, you're back down to the utilities instrumentation services.
Well, actually, as I looked at it more over the week, we actually figured out that we can actually prevent the EQ basin from filling any more. What we would do, basically, our problem is that we filled it when it was already full in that, and what happened is it was in an immediate SSO. So we can actually turn off our pumps, preventing it actually for free actually, and we just figured this out.
Well, when you say that the pumps went off and you didn't know that, correct?
Yes.
Now you're saying you turn them off on purpose?
Well, what happened is our raw sewage pump turned off, and then our basin pumps flipped on and then fed more to the basin actually. So we filled our basin when we weren't supposed to, and by manually turning off our basin pumps, we can prevent that. And actually what will actually happen at the plant is that the sewer system will fill up more and more, and then it'll reach our 15-foot alarm, which will alert us. And then so we would have no issues then. So
Ryan,
and we can figure.
plant, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? We run the plant, it's going to blow up. We don't want to do that.
Well, for now, if our EQ basin is full all the way, what we'll do is we will prevent it from filling any more. So we would put
you want to leave it status
more
quo
in the
right now?
system then, and just
So you want to leave
leave
it
it alone.
status quo right now?
You're saying
Yeah.
we don't have to do anything. We don't have
nothing at all. Nope.
Okay. All right.
We don't have to. And
Best answer yet.
I figured it out. So
All right.
Excellent.
Well, that's good, and I thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That problem.
Well, you made a yeoman's effort, and I want to acknowledge, I thought you did a great job writing the analysis up. So.
Okay.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
And we'll just keep this around in case down the
Okay.
road we need it.
Yeah, it's options.
Anything else you want to update us on the plant? Things are running pretty smooth right now?
We had one SSO, which was from the EQ basin on 3/2/18, and pretty much the reason for that is we had 0.9 inches of rain, and that was over a 10-hour time period. And then we also had 4 inches of snow melt.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened there. And the work agreement for the centrifuge sludge haul, it's all set right now, and it's ready for signature at the township board meeting. And I have it right here. It's all ready to go.
Now, we've already approved that. It's just a matter of go to the township board.
Yes.
Final
Yep.
approval, right.
Yeah.
Good.
And we should be set to start that by early May, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have it all in order and everything.
All right. Well, very good.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
That's
Any
it.
questions?
If anybody has anything.
Well, you solved one problem tonight. We're not going to do anything. You've got it solved internally.
It's a free solution there, and we'll just stick with that
Okay.
for right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, John, I don't want to step on your toes here.
Go right ahead, Bob. Speak right up. You're doing a fine job.
You got a letter from Waste Management. I don't think it was page numbered on your packet. I guess it was, page 38.
Yes.
And it talks about, it's from Waste Management about our recycling. And what I get out of this lengthy letter is that he says recycling is a third-party operation, so we're one party, Waste Management's one party, and then they sell all their recyclables to a third party who handles it. And he's saying that the market for that is overloaded, is what I get, and so they're going to charge more to do it. That's the way I see it.
Well, Bill, I think what it is we have in our contract a stated amount, and that was based on their history of 10 to $20 a ton, and now because of things going on in China, it's going to shoot up, and I think they want to come back to us and ask us if we'll pay more.
Well, certainly.
But we need to. The bottom line is we need to talk to them.
Yeah, and the first thing that popped in my head is, well, if that's going to affect Little Grosse Ile, what about communities like Livonia, Southfield, and big communities where waste management operates? It's going to affect them too.
Oh yeah, anybody that recycles, I would imagine this affects.
So he's asked for Lorinda suggested we have a committee to meet with him. We can do that. I don't care. Does anybody like
I absolutely would want to meet with them.
If I can, this is not tied to the current tariffs. This goes back to China's national sword from last fall, correct?
That's what they're stating in their...
The national sword. It affects us at work, too. Yeah.
Lenny, what is that you're saying?
China came out last October with a statement that said they're going to instill a program called National Sword.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's not in the news anywhere. And what it essentially means is it's a get clean China program where they're going to stop taking various automotive shred and various recycling stuff the way they currently do. And what they do over there is they've got these big camps where they hand sort and process the recyclable material, whether it's ferrous, non-ferrous, or plastics or paper. That whole program is being changed. And so what they did the first of the year is they started to cease all shipments. So they told all the brokers that buy this stuff, if you buy this stuff outside of these boundaries, you're going to go to jail for 10 years and get a $10,000 fine. So now they're trying to figure out how to get this stuff in because they need employment over there and keep the jobs. So this National Sword program, they think in 6 or 8 months will just go away. And in my professional life, we deal with this every day and have been for the last 6 months. There's an issue with what the country is willing to accept as it attempts to get cleaner and stop the emissions issues and the smog issues and those things. So as far as what we understand is China's notorious for overcorrecting and then relaxing. But we don't know what that means just yet, so I'm not sure in 6 months if this will be the same issue.
Well, and that's the other
everything
problem.
Here is stockpiling because they have reduced the amount of inbound material that they're willing to accept right now, going back to National Sword.
Well, would you like to be on this committee?
No, I don't know a thing about it. Yeah, I'll jump in.
All right. So Jim and Lenny and...
I can.
Are they?
Anybody else?
No. Has Waste Management talked to ISRI?
I'm not aware of that as of yet.
Okay. We have some.
I think pretty much all we know is this.
We have some questions.
All right, so we have a committee to deal with this, and I'll turn it back to Lorinda to organize a meeting with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Also, listen, folks. We received some really good news from Wayne County. Lorinda got a letter, and you all have a copy of it, page 46 in your packet. And basically, what it says is, Wayne County would like to notify you of a continuation of their local partnering initiative for township roads. This is good news. The Wayne County Department of Public Services, the Engineering Division, will allocate funds to repair and resurface and reconstruct existing local township residentially zoned roads under Wayne County's jurisdiction. Wayne County's Division of Engineering will make available $388,888 to fund this initiative. That's for our community. So Wayne County received a couple $1 million, and they're splitting it equally to the townships within the county, regardless of population. We have to match it by a 20% match, which is $77,000, and we do have the money in our budget. We just haven't allocated it yet. Now, this is for local roads. It's not for primary roads. The county, in the state law, for counties and cities and villages, you have local roads, major roads, primary, collector roads. And they're designated as what they are. So East River, West River, Ferry, all the ones we've talked about improving are primary or collector roads. This money is to go to neighborhood roads like Grays Drive, HCL Jackson,
Burning Bush,
Manchester, Burning Bush, so forth.
Marquette.
Yes. Come on, Phil, come up with one in your neighborhood.
intersection at Swan.
Swan Drive, yeah, there you go. So it's for local neighborhood roads, which is great. I noticed that a lot of our local roads that we've been repairing need more repairs, particularly, I hate to say it, Gray's Drive again by the high school. But so this is great news. What I'd like to suggest is maybe before our next meeting, we get together like we have in the past and drive a few areas that we'll try to identify, staff would, and we could set some priorities that way. Any thoughts? Any different thoughts?
No, that's a great, that's, I think, the way to do it. It's worked for us in the past.
So we'll organize something, and I guess realistically, unfortunately, because we have to go through a bidding process for this, we're talking about probably next spring, maybe this fall, I don't know. But the longer we go into the year, the higher the prices get. So maybe this is a 2-year plan. Maybe we ought to be ready next year to come out with something. We have money in the budget this year. We can go and do work about $100,000. We haven't allocated that yet, so we'll try to do that at the next meeting, okay? So that covers the agenda. I want to go back to item number 1. Item number 1, under the action items, I got all screwed here with my all this material I got in front of me. My favorite topic, roads. How can I do that? All right. If you can find in your packets page 28. Sorry. Everybody got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that couldn't find it. So what we did at the last meeting, we talked about the plan for road improvements and maintenance, and we really just redid it. The final outcome financially doesn't change. So the recommendation, if we move forward, would be to recommend to the Township Board a 2 mil tax levy for 12 years. And then the details we've added here, but that's the recommendation. And if we were to do that, the first year's priorities in 2019 on page 29 would be Church Road, and to widen it 2 feet between East River and the canal, and to resurface from canal to Meridian. And that would give us about $250,000 to do chip sealing. That's the first year. Then the second year is where we change the priorities. We would do East River Road, basically between Horse Mill and Ferry, or Park Lane, that's by the Presbyterian Church. That's Park Lane and Ferry. East River between Manchester and Macomb, and East River between Grow and Upper Mesa Island Bridge, which is really falling apart. And then finish West River Road between Church and Horse Mill. Then the third year, and we would issue bonds. Then the third year we would resurface Meridian between Grosse Hill Parkway and to north of Horse Mill, and Bellevue Road between Meridian and East River. Then the fourth year, resurface Ferry, and that would give us money to either and do some work on Park Lane between Horse Mill and Bridge, South Point, Horse Mill between Meridian and Park Lane. Each of the years following, between 2022 and on, we would have to 2030, we would have, in addition to bond payments, about $365,000 to make improvements and do maintenance on roads under this plan. So we talked about this a lot. I think this is what we talked about. Is there a further discussion on this item? Anybody want to make a motion to make a recommendation to the Township Board?
I would make the motion to recommend to the Township Board to approve a plan for road improvement and maintenance.
Bill, is there support?
Support.
I'm picking on you because you helped to develop this. All right, so we have a motion. Is there further discussion?
No.
But
No.
at this point, we're clear we're not requesting the renewal of the 2010 millage.
Well, I guess that hasn't been debated.
So that's still open.
It's still open, I guess. Should we talk about that?
Well, we kind of down at the bottom of the handout, we kind of indicate there that if this is approved, we would not seek that reauthorization.
Well, that's listed, it says in there, one option would be to not seek it.
Right. I mean, I don't have any problem with waiting. I mean, I know that's going to be a question of the voters.
Well, and I think it'll really become a question, at the at the time of renewal, and I think maybe it is smart just to wait and see, what we need, and obviously if you have this out there, renewing that might be a tough job. But we would have to know why do we need to renew it? I mean, right now it looks like we wouldn't.